Hello. Hello, Phil, we're on. Are
Hello,
you there?
sort of.
It's Goblin Holmes. How you doing, Phil?
I'm all right.
I'll do my BoJack Horseman impression today. Hello, everyone in the chat. I hope we're going. Are we going? I can't see that. I had to put my face
I
right
think we
up
are, yeah.
to the screen to see. Where's my glasses? Put my glasses on my mouth. Does that work? Oh, no.
We're live, so you might as well say something.
Ah. Hello, and welcome to The Agenda with Graham Hughes and Phil Moorhouse. And happy Halloween, everyone. Yeah. So, Phil, how's it been going?
Uh, Better for me than for Labour again.
Yeah. No, this should have been the week of Labour's biggest triumph, shouldn't it?
In what regard?
Well, they got the Renters' Rights Bill
Oh,
by
yeah, well,
royal assent.
yeah, no one knows about it.
Why does no one know about it, Phil? What's gone wrong? Where is Labour's
Because
passion?
they've got a different housing story. It's the most nonsense of them all with Rachel Reeves.
Oh, I can't drink my coffee with this on. I'm going to have to take it off, I'm afraid. Sorry, everyone.
Horses don't drink coffee.
Whew. It was me all along. It was Old Man Winners from the amusement arcade. I would have got away with it too if it wasn't for you pesky kids. That's an improvement, says Saz. Thanks very much, Saz. Love you too. Graham, where are you kicked in the head by a horse? No, I am the horse. I go around kicking people in the head and therefore making them think that voting for Refuck's a good idea. So, yeah, so today, Phil, we're talking about obviously Labour's latest cock up, in which they had this massive bit of legislation that's gone through that's going to improve the lives of millions of people around the country immeasurably.
Yeah,
Well, kind of measurably, but you know. And yeah, they haven't made any political capital out of it whatsoever.
yeah. See, what should have happened is Keir Starmer should have come out, big press conference, and all the things on Rachel Reeves. He says, this is just the misogynistic Tory press trying to stop you finding out about these things. I'm going to talk about these things because it absolutely is as well.
Yeah,
The Rachel Reeves thing, I mean, the emails were published last night. It proves. So, for those who don't know, like, let's say you've just come out of a coma. So, Rachel Reeves, obviously, she and her husband have a place, right?
yeah,
But as Chancellor, she's expected to live in Downing Street, like the Prime Minister, next door.
yeah,
So obviously that means they've got a vacant property. Well, we haven't got enough houses in the country. She'd be slated if she left it empty. So obviously she rents it out.
yeah, 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 yeah,
She,
yeah,
she uses a letting agency.
yeah.
And then it turns out, oh, you need like a landlord's license, which is not a standard national thing
No, it's
anyway. It's
not. It's a
like,
different rule everywhere, isn't it?
exactly. So, so but then they said, oh, but so then last night they released a load of things. Including an email trail which proves several things. First, it proves her husband was dealing with it.
Yeah,
So, although she's like, because she is co-owner of the house, so yes, she's still liable for this license. She is technically a landlord. But in terms of what she specifically knew about it, her husband was dealing with it.
yeah,
But also, they've got a letter from the letting agency that says they will sort the license out.
yeah,
So if you're someone who's not a professional landlord, you're just letting it out because for a few years, you're not
yeah,
going to need to live there.
yeah,
You use a letting agent. You don't try and do it yourself. You use a letting agency, which is sensible if you don't really know about being a landlord.
yeah,
The letting agency says, "Oh yeah, you need this license, but we'll sort it out for you." Job
yeah,
done. Why would you chase anything up?
yeah,
And yet the right wing are making a real stink out of it. And the reason they're making a stink out of it, they want Reeves gone. They know that if Reeves goes, the economy takes a hit. Because
yeah,
remember what happened when Rachel Reeves came in, she was crying a little bit at PMQs one time
yeah,
because they'd had to do that big U-turn.
yeah,
Um, the markets wobbled then
yeah,
because they thought she might be on her way out.
yeah,
At the end of the day, never mind all the bullshit written in the mainstream media, what the economic papers are saying is Rachel Reeves is actually doing a good job of stabilizing the economy,
yeah, yeah.
right? So, yeah. So this is purely a witch hunt, and this is the dumbest of all. Like the Angela Rayner one was weak. In a normal society, Angela Rayner wouldn't have had to resign because she didn't abuse her position as a minister.
Yeah,
She didn't do anything corrupt. That was an honest mistake. It was just that she had a letter that basically said, yeah, this is, you ought to get specialist legal advice, and she didn't. So that was her mistake. Rachel Reeves has a letter saying, yeah, you need this license, but we're going to sort it for you. So, and she didn't even see it. We know she didn't see it because the emails published prove that it was her husband dealing with it.
Oh, wow.
This is completely...
So it's a husband's cock up. Oh my God, a woman having to deal with a man's fucking cock up.
Well,
that makes a change, doesn't it?
But it is. The other thing is, I'll point out, this is purely misogynistic because... So who have we had fall prey to stupid shit? Louise Haig over something that happened in her 20s.
Yeah.
Angela Rayner over what was clearly an honest mistake, albeit a little bit reckless in not getting that legal advice.
Yep.
Now they're after Rachel Reeves, right? David Lammy, a couple of months when JD Vance came over for his holiday, right? They went fishing. Now, David Lammy didn't sort out the fishing licenses. Now, that is something you need across the whole country, by the way. That's not a council by council thing, even though it's a local thing, but you need them everywhere. Now, I can say, okay, if you don't do fishing, and he clearly don't do fishing because he was shit at it, you might not know that. But nonetheless, he broke the rules, and it was all treated as a big joke, wasn't it? It was it was embarrassing. It was an embarrassing slip up, which is exactly what this is for Rachel Reeves. The only difference is they're absolutely trying to hound Reeves out, but there was no hounding of Lammy out. Is it because he's got a penis? Is that the difference here? Because if you look at the last, particularly the Tories going on this, look at the situation. Boris Johnson and Rishi Sunak both provably knowingly break the law. They break their own law, the law they passed, and admitted to it. They've, you've also had Boris Johnson caught breaking traffic laws by riding on the motorway without seatbelts.
Illegally proroguing Parliament.
That's not a criminal offence.
Unlawfully.
I'm talking about criminal law.
Yeah.
So in terms of things you can get fined for, at least.
Yeah.
So they provably did that.
Yeah.
Priti Patel's jumping on the bandwagon, but she served under 2 prime ministers, at least, who broke laws. And she's serving under another leader now who admitted to breaking the law. Kemi Badenoch admitted to hacking a senior MP's website. That could carry a prison sentence of up to 5 years.
Yeah. And we're not even mentioning the fact that £4 billion, at least that we know of, was awarded to mates of the Tories during COVID.
No, there's way more than that.
The VIP lanes, 51 contracts we know of that were worth $4 billion, and it's probably way, way more than that in the end. And such a colossal waste of money that the Tories decided not to use proper medical supply companies. They used their mates instead. One of the people who got one of these contracts was Matt Hancock's landlord. I don't mean like a landlord like the landlords that we're going to be talking about at the moment.
You mean pub owner. It wasn't actually the pub owner, to be fair, that got it. It was even worse than that. It was worse than that. It was someone else entirely.
Oh, really?
So basically, Matt Hancock's publican said, I've got this mate who wants a contract, and he gave it to him. So that was even worse. That's like a friend second removed.
Wow. Yeah, really grim. Anyway, should we talk about this renters' rights bill? It's fucking brilliant. They've abolished Section 21. There's been marchers on the street calling to abolish Section 21. This is no-fault evictions. The Tories said they were going to get rid of it again and again and again. Never actually did it. Tenants can no longer be kicked out so a landlord can cash in. This fixes the living.
If we link that to the Rachel Reeves, do you know what this proves as well? Like, the reason why the Tories promised it but didn't do it is because so many other MPs are landlords.
Yeah.
All of these latest little scandals, if you want to call them that, with Labour, all it actually proves is that people in Labour don't know how to be landlords.
Yeah.
Because they only ever have to deal with property every now and then, so they don't know it. Whereas Tories know it inside out because they're all bastard landlords.
Yeah, they are. So rolling tenancies, no more 12-month trap that people sign a deal, a contract to stay in a house for 12 months. And then when they get there and actually move their stuff in, they realise that actually, behind that bit of wood against the wall, there's a lot of damp, rot, there's problems at mice they don't know about. And they're stuck. They're locked in for a year. Tenants can give 2 months' notice and go. So we've got stability, but without being chained. Dogs, cats, pets allowed by
you can
default.
ask for reasonable, in a reasonable circumstances to have that.
Yeah. People can have companion animals without begging like a Dickensian orphan. Rent bidding has been banned. This is where people go,
Yeah.
okay, well, whoever gives me the most amount of money, I'll rent to them.
Yeah.
And also there's AWAB's law, which has been extended. This
Yeah.
is about mould and hazards have to be fixed within 24 hours of them being flagged, named after a toddler who died from mould exposure. There's finally going to be a proper referee, ombudsman, and enforcement database that not had before.
Yeah.
No discrimination against people with kids or on benefit claimants,
Yeah.
and fair eviction grounds still exist. So antisocial behaviour, serious
Oh, yeah.
arrears,
I mean,
etc.
that's the thing as well.
Anti-landlord.
Yeah, the things in the bill will also help good landlords against shit tenants. You do have shit tenants as well.
Yeah. Tinkinator, my friend, thank you so much. The biggest problem with the renters law is nobody is talking about it. It'll make it harder for British citizens to own properties while making it easier for large corporations to buy them out en masse. Thank you very much for the super chat. What do you think of that, Phil?
I don't know. You'll have to explain that to me.
But what Tinkinator is saying is that it will make it harder for British citizens to own properties while making it easier for large corporations to buy them out.
Yeah, but what specific bit? Because I'm honestly not familiar with that bit of it. So you'll have to explain.
Tinkinator, you'll have to give us a bit more on that. There's a knock on the door. Just one sec. I might have to go and get this. Phil, do you want to take the ropes for a moment and tell people why Labour have not been making the most of this? Go
on. Because Keir Starmer insists on being this straight-laced lawyer guy when he should come out. He should, there's some things you can actually learn from the likes of Trump and Farage, and a bit of outrage doesn't do you any harm. Labour don't have to be divisive, but you can have a bit of outrage. Keir Starmer should have come out, big press conference to support this bill being made law. So it's now the Renters' Rights Act 2025. He could have come out and all the things about Rachel Reeves, he could say, don't be ridiculous. This is more misogynistic witch hunts because the Tory press don't want me to tell you. It really works on social media when you say, oh, they don't want you to hear this. How many videos do you see on social media? It's like, oh, this is what they don't want you to know. This is what they don't want you to know. All those stupid adverts for like dodgy, illegal dentistry things. Oh, the dentists don't want you to hear about this. You've all seen it. It works, right? It's brilliant clickbait. Starmer should come out and do the same thing. He should say, the reason you're asking about this is because you don't want the people to find out about this. And then you go through a massive long list of all the things in it that give new rights to people. And every time someone asks you a question on the Rachel Reeves thing, say, you're only doing that because you're trying to stop the people finding out about these new rights. You're trying to stop the people because a new right in law only works if people know they have that right, because you've still got to enforce your own rights.
Yeah.
So, for example, if you're not aware, so the law now is going back to the AWAB's law. So if, for example, you've got mold or damp in your property, the landlord now has to, within a certain frame of time, it's quite a short frame of time, they've got to carry out an investigation. And within that investigation being completed, it has to be completed within 10 days, I think. They have to write to you within 3 days with, the situation.
Yeah.
And if it's an emergency, like a serious health and safety emergency, they have to deal with it within 24 hours.
Yeah.
If people don't know about that, then although the right theoretically exists in law, it doesn't for you if you don't know, because you still have to enforce your own rights, right?
Yeah.
So Keir Starmer could have come out and he could have, with three blows, first of all, go on the attack against the Tory media, because they are. This is a party political attack. This is a partisan attack on Rachel Reeves. It's a misogynistic attack. So they need to go after it. He should say that every time they try and bring it up, says, I've already been over this. You're just trying to stop the people finding out about these new rights, and then go over all the new rights. He needs to, be combative. You can be combative without being divisive. You don't have to divide society, but the government should have no problems making enemies of people who are the people's enemy.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, this is something that Labour, you've been talking about it. Like, how are they not just screaming from the rooftops about this. This is 11 million voters. This is a huge voting bloc, mostly younger, mostly urban, often neglected. These are Labour's heartlands, you know. This is their people. And winning them is how Labour gets to hold power for another election. And at the moment, they're like, oh yeah, we did this thing. Yeah, don't want anyone to know about it.
Everything they're doing wrong is a failure of communications.
Yes.
Literally everything they're doing wrong is a failure of communication.
But this is something
embarrassing.
That, you know, housing insecurity is a top tier issue. You have Labour voters, Tory voters, even refuck voters. This is their main thing, you know, with the ones who aren't obsessed with immigration. And this is the first government in decades to rebalance housing power. You know, this is, compare it with Thatcher's right to buy. She sold that as a revolutionary, and this is Labour's version, and they're selling it like a fucking commemorative fucking teaspoon.
And the Thatcher version, we're paying for it now in higher council taxes, which Labour should also be talking about. Yeah.
So why aren't they? Is this fear of Daily Mail landlord outrage? Is it donor anxiety? Is it PTSD from the Corbyn
They just
years?
don't. They honestly don't know how to communicate. They do not know. They fundamentally don't know. It's baffling to me. I don't know why they don't know, because it's not like, I'm not saying if I were in charge of their communications, I would be stunning. I wouldn't be the best person to do that.
You'd be better than the people who are there at the moment, Phil.
It's so amateurishly bad that they're not, you know, everyone who's involved in how they present themselves, literally at the top, I'm talking about at the top, the ones who make the decisions, the people in charge of how this government presents itself to the public are all fucking useless.
And do
they should be gone.
There's another angle to this, Phil. It's not just about Labour getting re-elected or going up in the opinion polls or whatever, or being seen as competent for a change. That people could die. Like, literally, if people don't know their rights and don't know that their landlord, by law, has to get rid of that fucking black mould, by law, and don't make that phone call, and don't follow it up, and don't get in touch with the ombudsman because they don't know there's an ombudsman.
Exactly.
Kids might die, more children might die. Like, this is like a public service to let people know. Obviously, you know, it's good.
And this is what I always think as well. You know, whenever an election happens, a general election happens, literally, this is how I think about every single general election. Whenever the Conservatives win, or at the next election it might be, but the right wing, it's different Conservatives, I always think to myself, that's it. A load of extra people are going to die now, and a load of extra people are going to become poor.
Yeah.
And whenever Labour wins, I think, right, that won't happen. We won't get as many people dying. We won't get as many people in poverty. We might actually reverse some of it. It's literally that big for me. So if Reform UK get in at the next election, a lot of people will die. A lot of people's standard of living will go down. And there will be no quick fix for it.
So people's lives are on the line here.
We're into this bit of a trap at the moment that a lot of people want quick fixes now. And so there's a danger we end up cycling between voting for different governments who promise the quick fix and don't deliver it.
Yeah.
Some of whom who maliciously don't want to deliver it, but some of them just because they shot their mouths off and now they're in power and they can't deliver.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it'll just get worse and worse.
Chris C, thank you very much. It will be drowned out by both the Andrew and Reeves scandals being splashed across the front pages.
Well, it already is been.
That's that. Okay, we've also got social media. We've also got other means of getting the message out to people, and they're not doing it.
They're not using it.
They're not using it. They're like, do you rent? You know, just find out who rent. Tell them. Bloody, here's what Labour's done, and put the Labour logo on it. Right, you know, you're talking about people dying because of the lack of bold initiative when it comes to communication. Right, this timidity is deadly, and I'll give an example. And I mentioned this earlier in the week. It's come out this week that the Department of Justice under President Biden at the time waited a year. Merrick Garland waited a year before bringing any charges against Trump for all the shit he's done. Jack Smith could have brought that case for the stolen documents in Washington, D.C. Instead, he wanted to do it by the book. He wanted to do it right. He wanted to give Trump every opportunity to redeem himself. And so he brought it in Florida. What happened? He got the Judge Eileen Cannon, who was a Trumper, and she was appointed by Trump, and she completely derailed the case. That was the strongest case against him. That was by far the strongest case against him. And by being timid, these stupid bastards have led to him getting re-elected and now people dying all over the world as a result of Trump being in power.
And of course in America, because obviously American voters are going to mostly but they themselves are being killed.
Yes.
And they're being killed directly, but they're also being going to be killed indirectly by the loss of, I mean, we're imminently talking about food aid going, but because of the government shutdown, but also healthcare's going. That's the cause of the government shutdown in theory.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just some simple things like, I mean, earlier this year, they basically got rid of a load of the early warning systems for hurricanes just before hurricane season. So obviously we know, obviously big in the news, Jamaica's getting absolutely battered. But, you know, countries in, states in America like Florida and stuff are very vulnerable to hurricanes. Yeah. Who turns off hurricane early warning systems in places like that just to save a few quid?
Yeah. But here's the thing, going back to Labour, right? If this was the Tories and they had brought something forward like this, if they had managed to get rid of Section 21, they would have projected it onto Big Ben. Mm. They would have tattooed it on fucking Boris Johnson's arse. They would have got school kids singing about it. They would have had a bus. They would have had a bus going around the country. That would have been full page news for 5 days in a row. You know, I just...
And in all honesty, they should do that. That's a very good idea. That's what Keir Starmer should have done, or maybe Steve Reed, whoever.
What, got the tattoo?
Or no, they could have got Angela Rayner to do it because she's a backbencher now, right?
Yeah. So go around the country in a bus, telling people what the lights are.
They literally could have got a bus, and the aim of it could have been to explain to people what their new rights are. Yeah. That's a very good idea. That would have got into the papers, but it would have also got into communities because the bus would have actually gone to places.
Yes.
So it would have been in the local news. The local news would love that.
Yeah.
They're sick of having to try and work out how Tiddle stuck up a tree is going to be blinding news on the front page.
Yeah.
So they would love a bus with Angela Rayner to turn up.
Yeah. Saying your landlord can't kick you out for no reason anymore. You know, infographics, case studies, you know, just the things they got, the doorstep scripts for Labour activists. I don't understand why that they stopped campaigning. Labour just stopped campaigning once they're in. Yeah. Once there's not an election on the horizon, we're not going to campaign. And then a week before the election, they go, oh shit, we've got to stop campaigning now. And it's like, this week, right, specifically, I know people mentioned...
That would have been easy. They wouldn't even have to pay for it because it's a government thing. It's a government... Yeah. It would be a government...
Exactly.
Communication thing. They'd just be explaining
How are they not even thinking about this?
The taxpayer would pay for it. It'd be brilliant.
But
it wouldn't even be corrupt spending.
Do you know who's got more coverage in social media yesterday? Nigel Farage, because he had his fucking stupid little vote in the House of Commons. It didn't mean shit. And it was going to be ignored before Stella Creasy pointed out that it would look quite bad if it passed. If the government don't want to take up a 10-minute bill, they're not going to take it up, right? So it will never, ever, ever become law under a Labour government. But they didn't want the optics of it, you know, the government not standing up to it, especially for our partners across Europe who already were trying to, you know, make a little bit of amends there. But that's got more coverage than the renters' rights. People slagging off Labour, saying, why didn't you all vote against it when they've got better things to do? Thank you very much. But also, like, people just going, oh, Nigel Farage, they're talking about Nigel Farage. Look and mention Nigel Farage. Look at him in the... And it's like, this guy stands up in what's effectively sixth form common room and does a debate, which is just him, really, saying we should leave the European Court for Human Rights. And everyone else says no. And then it goes to a vote. And that was fun, wasn't it? And it makes no difference whatsoever to the law of this land or foreign relations.
I mean, it comes back to this. There was a viewer of mine said that their MP had told them that they thought it would all be all right from now because they'd done all the unpopular stuff, so now it'd all just be really good news. And I did sort of say back to them, what you should tell them is the media will report on whatever the media want to.
Yeah.
Right? They will either massively blow up something petty or they'll just make shit up.
Yeah.
Right. And this is a case in point. This should be a wake-up call for Labour MPs, right? If Labour do not themselves go out, I seem to have accidentally put it at a jaunty angle.
The jaunty Goblin Homes.
This should be a wake-up call for them that even when you've done something really good, the media aren't going to report on it unless you force them to. You've got to force them to. And it's easy to force them to. You just make it exciting. Honestly, I do yours as boss. Superb. That's what they should do. You know, and again, Angela Rayner played a big part in it.
Yeah.
So give it. She now that she's a backbencher, because she's not persona non grata at all. Even Keir Starmer's happy to say, the only reason she resigned was because of, this little thing. He's not saying she did anything wrong, really.
Yeah.
He's more than happy that she should come back. Where Streeting, who is basically Starmer's spokesperson on like in the media, has openly said he wants her back. So there's no Labour aren't trying to distance themselves at all from Angela Rayner.
Yeah.
They could easily use her. They could say, Angela, do you fancy going around, building up your own rep again? And not that it's really been trashed, but building up your rep to lay the groundwork for a return. And at the same time, because you're a backbencher, that's fine. You wouldn't you couldn't have a cabinet minister do that, but she can if she was up for it, and she would be up for it. So yeah, big red bus with this is what a promise delivered looks like. That's what you'd write on the side of the bus. This is what a Labour promise delivered looked like.
Yeah, yeah.
With renters' rights on it, and they can use the same bus with different. When the employment rights bill comes out, they could do that. Send it to Clacton when the employment rail, because that's quite soon now.
Yeah.
Send it to Clacton. That'll get into the papers. Angela Rayner in Clacton explaining about new workers' rights that Nigel Farage voted against.
Yes.
It's not difficult, Labour. It's not actually difficult.
God. Anyway, Tinkinator, thank you very much for the super chat. You need to look into this. The renters' rules make it harder for small landlords, but larger property owners can afford the hassle of paperwork and the losses of entire empty property, while small landlords can't.
So is this paperwork for the benefit of tenants? If it is, then it's just the way it is.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, if you're talking about like economies of scale, if you're effectively talking about economies of scale are just a fact of economics. You can't change it.
I'm going to be cantankerous now and say, well, maybe these landlords.
And at the end of the day, if you're a private tenant, do you really care? As long as the law says that your property has to be maintained at a certain standard and you've got these rights, do you really care whether your landlord's an individual or like a large business? Because I've had a landlord who was just like, it was a couple, an elderly couple that was sort of retiring. And I've had a landlord that was actually a big business, had properties all over the country, and they were both good to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's the difference. Like, but these rules, I think what you're talking about, Tinkinator, is just economies of scale. It's just not, there's no way around that.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, if you're talking about it's harder now for a smaller landlord. I don't see that as a bad thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I really don't. Because a larger company, for instance, is more special. As long as they're forced to maintain a certain standard of the property, and there are certain, the other side of it, of course, is control so your rent doesn't keep going up all the time.
Yeah.
But then a small landlord's just as likely to put your rent up every year as a big one.
Yeah. But this is a big win for Labour, and Labour should be celebrating it as a big win. And once again, they have snatched defeat from the jaws of victory just by not telling anyone and not having a big thing to
and
get
not
it
being
out
combative.
Elon Musk.
If ever there was a time for him to come out in front of the media and say "fuck you all," this was it.
Yeah, yeah,
that'd get himself on the front page. There'd be no Andrew hogging the limelight then.
But Elon Musk or Tim Cook, they go out on stage to celebrate something that might happen or might not happen, or the new iPhone is like a nanometer small. They go out on stage and they do a big presentation and they say, "Wow, isn't this amazing?" And they've done fuck all, right? They've done fuck all, and obviously it's to get the shareholders to buy their meme stock or the companies, and it's just infuriating that all Labour need to they're pushing on an open door. I just can't believe that this is happening. Chris C is saying private landlords shouldn't be a thing in the 20th century. 21st century. I agree. Tinkinator disagrees possibly. We need a land value tax to solve this problem for high value portfolios of property above £10 million. We need to crimp it at both ends, help tenants and address wealth inequality at the same time. I agree. Big piece of wealth inequality is council tax. Why does Buckingham Palace pay less council tax than a single mum living up in, I don't know, Salford or somewhere?
Yeah.
Why? It just makes no sense at all to me.
But that's what you want is land tax. I wouldn't even say land value tax because I would change it according to the use of the land to stop land banking.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ivan's just said there's Labour Party member, the party leadership are using us members to spread their messages. I'll keep doing so, but they need to do it themselves. Because this is the other thing, and this is why they need to use social media. So a Labour activist, even a whole team of Labour activists, in a particular CLP, I suppose it depends on how active it might be, but you might have maybe you've got a dozen regular activists, you might have a couple dozen, maybe, depends how active it is. How many people can they get through to? Every week on my social media, I get through to 300,000 individual accounts. Now, not all of them are in Britain, but the vast majority are in the UK.
Yeah.
I mean, like one person knocking on, it's a useful thing. I know you don't approve of it. I think it's still a good part of it. It's still a part of the puzzle, but you can't rely on it because a person can only get through to so many people knocking on doors. Whereas on social media, Labour could get through to millions
Yeah. But they're
of
choosing
people
not
in
to.
this country.
Yeah.
And if they're willing, I mean, Labour have to present it right. They have to do it in an entertaining, engaging way. Infotainment, not boring corporate bullshit.
Yeah.
If they can do that, then you've got the people who will be watching it are the people who are interested in it as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even if they're watching it for the entertainment value, you've got to have that entertainment value. They'll still be vaguely interested in the message behind it, or they'll be getting the message whether they are or they're not. And these are voters.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not hard. It's increasingly frustrating to me that they cannot do basic things.
Tinkinator 40, thank you very much for the £10 super chat. Given that Labour and Greens are level pegging in the reliable polls now, is cooperation the only way to stop reform? I suspect we'll trip each other up and let Farage waltz into number 10. And
so first of all, that's not true. They're level pegging in the shit polls, but it really doesn't matter. Labour are level pegging with the Tories in the reliable polls. It's too low. It's ridiculously low. They are going to trip each other up. There is no cooperation possible. There is no cooperation possible. It's not legally possible. It's not politically possible, right? They are competitors. There is no cooperation between, and they don't both want the same thing either. But it's also legally impossible. It is illegal for them to work together. Cannot emphasize that enough. If they tried, that would actually just help Reform UK. So what Labour have to do, they have to be competitive. There is no cooperation possible. And the reason there is no cooperation legally possible is because if they worked together, they would have to share their funding caps.
Yeah, but you don't have to do it. You don't have to
instantly,
do it overtly,
Labour. Sorry,
you don't have to do it overtly. Refuck famously stood the Brexit Party as it was then stood aside in certain constituencies.
Yeah, but they stood aside.
In favour of
that's
the
not
Tories.
Cooperating.
Yeah, and Labour did think that. These are the constituencies where we're not going to be campaigning too hard, and gave it to the Lib Dems for them to go, okay, these are the ones we're going to concentrate on. So the stuff you can do without
the Conservatives did nothing for them. The Conservatives didn't do anything. There was no cooperation. Reform UK just stood candidates down. The Green Party aren't going to stand candidates down for Labour. Yeah,
but they can target particular constituencies that they're going to try and go for, like Brighton, for instance, and Bristol, which I always get mixed up, but then they're both Green.
No, the Green Party won't be happy with that. They won't accept that.
Well, we'll see.
They could do that themselves. They don't need to cooperate with Labour to do that. Reform UK didn't cooperate with the Conservative Party. They just stood candidates down. That's all they did. They just stood candidates down. It was unilateral, had nothing to do with the Conservatives. It didn't require any coordination because it wasn't we'll stand candidates down in here in return for you standing them down there.
Yeah, okay, there was no quid pro quo, but and that's fine because then that stayed within electoral law. But
if there was a quid pro quo,
there are some ways that parties can say, "Hey, up, you can have that one. We'll let you have. We're not going to put when Labour gave the list to the Lib Dems to say we're not going to particularly campaign in these
completely different. Labour don't compete with the Lib Dems. All Labour did was say we're going to focus our resources on the seats we can win.
Yeah, but
That
they
was
actually
it.
made a list of
Yeah, yeah.
seats that they weren't going to focus on. I
Yeah,
mean, they
but it
made
wasn't.
that
It wasn't.
list. It's not like you had to
The list had
extrapolate it
nothing
from the
to
ones that they
do.
were.
The list had nothing to do with the seats that the Lib Dems could win. The list was about the seats Labour could win. That was
No,
all the
no, no.
list
There
was.
was a
It
list
had
that came
nothing to do
out,
with the
and
Lib
it was the
Dems.
ones that they couldn't win. The ones, well,
No, no,
they
no.
weren't going to put too much resources
No, it was a
into.
list of seats they could win. It was the list of seats they were targeting they could
I mean,
win.
even going back to
All people did was take
1997,
away all the other seats to work out a list of the ones they can't win.
the 97, they had, what do they call it, a non-aggression pact between Paddy Ashdown and Tony Blair.
Yeah,
You know,
but that was the same thing. They don't compete with each other. They don't
so you're
compete.
saying that because the Greens directly compete with Labour,
Yes.
then there's no chance
They're
of...
after the same voters. There is
Okay.
not a single voter that the Green Party targets that Labour don't have or want. Not a
Well,
single type, because campaigns are not about seats, they're about voters. So the seats that Labour targeted were the seats that contained a large enough critical mass of the types of voter
yeah.
that they could realistically win over.
Yeah. But then again, I mean, you know, I worry a lot about the Tories and Refuck and what they're planning, because I'm sure they're talking to each other. There's so many Tories who are joining Refuck now. You know,
Yeah,
you
they
vote
are. They're
Refuck,
the
you get
second Tory party.
Tory plus.
Robert Jenrick openly wants a deal with them.
Yes. Tinkinator, thank you very much for the £10 super chats. John Curtis reckons the next election will be between Polanski and Farage. Clash of the demagogues. Your thoughts on this? Labour need a charismatic leader with a compelling message, compelling messaging perception. I agree that Labour needs to sort out their messaging. They need to sort out their comms. I can't see Polanski and Farage being the top two in the next election. I really can't.
No, they won't be the top two, but that doesn't matter. All Polanski has to do is take enough votes off Labour and it helps Farage.
Yeah.
It's really that simple. You know, what Curtis will be talking about there is the how much of the next election will be down to populism.
Yeah.
He thinks it's going to be heavily based on populism. And it might well be. It may well be. So basically what he's saying is, will those two still be like, because the problem Labour, they keep, like I even saw a report today, Labour think that Nigel Farage will burn himself out on scandals and stuff like that, and people get sick of him. It's like, well, that might happen. It's possible.
It's not happened yet.
I really wouldn't bank on it.
Don't bank on that. That's not happened to Trump, even though he was found to have done all these scandals. Yeah. He was found culpable in a court of law for rape. He was also found guilty of diddling the banks out of millions of dollars. Kind of, you know, sleaze on an epic American Texas-sized scale. And yet he still got re-elected. So I wouldn't put the bank on that. No, it's a bit like there are some people on social media at the moment, especially, who are saying on tomorrow, the 1st of November, in America, food programs are going to stop. So people who are relying on the food programs, SNAP provisions, they're going to have to go to a soup kitchen or something to get food. And you know, was it like every civilization is three missed meals away from a revolution? They're saying this will be it, because everyone will now realize how bad it is under Trump, and everyone will rise up and fight against Trump. And I can't see that happening, Phil. You know, because not least because they saw what he did under COVID. 500,000 Americans died as a result of the shoddy response by the American government to COVID, where you had the president arguing with scientists and just regurgitating stuff he'd heard on a fucking podcast and saying, no, all you want to do is shine sunlight up someone's arse and then make them ingest bleach, and that'll get rid of it. Give them some horse tranquilizer, that'll get... And it's particularly painful. You cannot rely on people to go, yeah, life is shit. I will therefore vote. I will make my vote more sensible. I'll stop voting against my better interest. Just thought, by the way, Phil, are you a goblin or are you an orc? Because if you're an orc, you could be Shagrat Holmes.
Oh yeah, very good. I mean, they are basically the same thing in Tolkien stuff.
No,
he just used the word goblins a lot in The Hobbit and orcs in Lord of the Rings, but they're basically the same thing.
Yeah.
But it is technically a goblin. It's not necessarily a Tolkien goblin, this one. It's just a goblin.
It looks like the Green Goblin from Spider-Man.
Just a little bit, yeah.
Although it's got like marks on the side, I don't think he's got. Anyway, so yeah, so I think that going down that route is entirely mad. We've got another 15 minutes or so, Phil. Zara Sultana covered herself in glory this week, didn't she?
So obviously, I'm not entirely sure. Obviously, what she's been saying is entirely in tune with Corbyn. What is she? I don't actually know what she is. Is she an official spokesperson for this party or not? It's still your party, isn't it, as far as I know? But nonetheless,
Yeah.
it's quite clear that, I mean, let's be honest, we can criticise Labour till the cows come home, but the real political incompetents are this group of people. So they've obviously decided that their excuse for a strategy is going to be to focus on an ultra narrow section of the left.
Yeah.
They are literally the tanky revenge party. That would be the most accurate way to describe them at this point. They're the tanky revenge party. They're not going to replace Labour. They can, they can replace Labour with Reform UK, just like the Green Party can. Although, I don't attack the Green Party because they've been a party for a long time. They've got every right to go for as many votes as they can. It's the system that's shit. But the Your Party exists purely to help the right wing come into government.
Yeah.
And again, so her coming out with these outrageous statements, why is she doing it? Because she knows this is something Labour can't do, but all the populists can. You come out with an outrageous statement, it gets a bit of coverage. It's not going to get a lot of coverage in the mainstream media because they're not going to take it too seriously, but it'll get coverage on sort of the social media platform, which is really crucial to a lot of voters. And Labour need to understand more young people get their news off social media now than mainstream media.
Yeah.
So just because it won't be mentioned much in the Telegraph, other than maybe a bit of ridicule on page 28, doesn't matter. It's blasting around social media. And yeah, so they're obviously deciding they're only focused on a very, very, very narrow group of voters, which ain't going to allow them to replace anyone. They won't even replace the Socialist Workers' Party like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they can take enough votes off Labour to allow reforming.
Yeah. And what she said about Zelensky this week was absolutely abhorrent. She said, "Oh yeah, well, that Putin, he's a tyrant. But if you think about it, confetti, woo! We'll come to your messages in a minute, Orange History Geek. Thank you very much, and also to Viper Scott. She said, "Oh yeah, Putin's a bad guy, yeah, but Zelensky's no friend of the working class." Yeah. Zelensky's no friend of the working class. What?
I'll tell you who isn't. Tell you who isn't a friend of the working class. Someone who thinks it's acceptable for Russia to kill millions of workers in Ukraine and steal their children. Steal their children.
Yeah. That's not very PC,
and how much of a friend is Putin to the workers of Russia whose industries is collapsing just to pay for his illegal
or the workers who he threw over the no man's land into the machine guns?
Well, yeah.
To be butchered.
And the rest of them are starving or can't get petrol.
Yeah. So, yeah, just unbelievable. And then scenes this week on the website where they put an email out saying anyone can join for free for a year. You just have to say that you signed up to the last iteration for 50 quid or whatever it was. And it'll just be a trust me bro system because we don't have access to the data that was taken in summer because that's owned by Jamie Driscoll, and they're trying to explain all this, and I'm just like, this is embarrassing. This is embarrassing me just on a human level, never mind in a political level.
Yeah. It is embarrassing. I get it because like when I used to watch Friends back in the day, I would sometimes have to switch the channel when Ross was about to say something because I knew he was a fictional character. But when he was hell-bent on embarrassing himself, I had too much empathy. I would sometimes honestly have to change the channel for a minute or so to let him
never cringe so much. I mean, the same with The Office and Extras. They're cringe-based
I never even watched those because that was too cringe for me.
There's a movie with Jon Favreau and Vince Vaughn from the 1990s called Swingers. It's not about couple swingers. It's about some guys who go to Las Vegas because their mate has split up with his girlfriend and he's trying to get over it. And there's a scene in it where he's met a girl at the bar and then he leaves a message on his answering machine, and he realizes it sounds a bit daft, so he rings her back and tries to apologize for the first message, but then he fucks that one up as well. And then he calls her back and leaves another message. And you're watching this going, this is physically hurting me. It's so embarrassing. It's so cringe. And I totally get that. The Your Party, or the Yawn Party. Cringe. Orange History Geek, thank you very much. With some clarification on what left, right, up, down, middle, out means. Hi, Graham. Just wanted to jump on a close related agenda theme. Left D, stroke, not, capitals, equal liberal. A certain type of left plus socially liberal activist is denying this. 1 of 5. They've always believed liberals economics they hate. To them, liberals plus liberalism are weak sellouts, not a force for good. Strawman compromise arguments. I'll make the super chat thing come up again because it's another one. The result equals saying that left is socially illiberal by default. That is not possible. That it's not possible to be left and not SL, socially liberal, I guess.
Do we have to do the conversation again?
Denying an entire 1/4 of the political compass. Denying the left and plus con voters exist as they tarnish the left label they see as exclusively theirs, like Brexit. Just believe and reality will change. Many S/righteous left commentators sneer at liberals while appropriating lib wins, e.g. LGBT, as inevitable side effects of left. History proves that false. So there you go. That's a marathon super chats. 5 super chats there from Orange History Geek. Thank you so much for that. And Viper Scott says, I keep thinking Phil's video as frozen because his mouth's not moving. Thanks for the super chat there.
Goblins are natural ventriloquists, you know.
And Di Stanton says, FFS, Zelensky is Paddington. Wish we had Paddington as PM. Thanks very much. Why is he? Was that a thing with him being Paddington for a while? The leader of Xi Jinping, the leader of China, he's Winnie the Pooh, isn't he? Doesn't he throw people in jail if they call him Winnie the Pooh? Isn't that like a huge thing? Because he does look like Winnie the Pooh.
China is not socially liberal.
No. And Auroran Destine says, thank you, Phil and Graham, for yet another great episode. The Agenda is one of my favourite political shows on YouTube. Well, thank you for enjoying our bants and what we're talking about and Phil's kind of terrifying goblin mask. But yeah, so just to bring it back.
Do you know what I did with this one time?
Go on.
When I first got it, it was basically some place that was going out of business, so it was on sale, so I got a couple of masks. So I was in like what we call the dog's room downstairs, and I just sat in my armchair with it. And my youngest, now stepdaughter, came in to talk to her mum, my now wife. And she just sat there talking to her for ages. I was just sat there looking at her with this goblin mask on. She didn't notice me. And then at one point, she just sort of turned around to me and saw it and shit herself. I've just been sat there looking at her for ages. She finally sort of glanced around and absolutely pissed herself.
Brilliant. So the other big news story this week is obviously Andrew losing his Prince title because this looked like he was going to go to Parliament. Now, do you know what's happening with the expenses? Aren't they bringing up all of the money that's been given to him? Isn't this going to be a parliamentary investigation? Is that still going ahead now? Do you know?
I don't know. It may or may not. It probably wouldn't have the. Probably wouldn't have the support. As long as it wasn't public money. If it was just private money, which I think it was, it probably wouldn't. At the end of the day, it's like, I mean, Virginia Giuffre's brother has said, they've actually welcomed the statement from the King, particularly about the victims.
Yes.
But he does say, but Andrew should be behind bars.
I think it'd be very hard to convict him of anything, though. But
well, it is now.
What might be interesting is what comes out in the next few weeks. I mean, I think that the Royals have got something even worse that they know is coming down the line.
Oh, I'm sure they do.
And they're like, sure, okay, this isn't distance themselves before this comes out. And they've got the kind of relationship with the papers. They should have done this years ago. Won't print it until they're told to or allowed
to. They should have done this years ago.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I mean, he even by the standards of people brought up in the upper classes, Andrew was always an entitled little shit because he used
Yeah.
to get away with. I was doing my earlier stream. He got away with stuff that even like you might think Charles is the next in line to the throne would be the most, but he actually wasn't. He was kept on quite a short leash. You
Yeah.
know, how young lads, not me obviously, but young lads will sometimes when they're just about look like they're old enough to buy a drink at the pub, but they're not, they'll go and buy a drink at the pub.
Yeah.
Well, Charles did that. And he got caught, and it was really embarrassing for him. And he apparently couldn't look at a cherry brandy for years afterwards. But whereas Andrew just got away with everything. He just got
Yeah.
away with shit. Because first of all, he had that bit of separation, and he was the Queen's favourite son. So he's entitled even by the standards of entitled little shits
Yeah.
because
He's
he
an
literally got
entitled.
away with
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But he is now, he's nothing. He's
Yeah.
absolutely nothing. He's a commoner. He's
Yeah.
literally a commoner now. He's Mr. Windsor. He's not a duke. He's not a prince. He's not even a knight. He's not even Sir Andrew. He's just Andrew Mountbatten
Just a
Windsor.
piece of rubbish that you should throw away. Yeah. Before we go, I just want to have a quick conversation. I hope you don't mind about the budget, and I don't want to talk about the budget
Mhm.
necessarily. I just want to talk about the commentary around the budget because I just find it so fascinating that every day on the front cover of one of the newspapers it's like Rachel Reeves is going to do this, and like
Yeah.
they're so fucking certain. Can you see
Well,
her putting 2 pence on income tax?
I'd be very surprised.
I'd be very
I,
surprised as well.
the thing I'd heard, see, the thing is, the reason they're doing this, I mean, you can't rule out some of them are just making shit up, but
Yes.
the Treasury also do leak stuff. So they leak stuff specifically to test the waters. And
Yeah.
one idea that was leaked from the Treasury, I'm confident was genuinely leaked from the Treasury, was to put up the base rate of income tax,
Yeah.
but to then drop employees' national insurance so that those sort of low to middle income workers, that is their priority,
Yeah.
don't pay more tax. Some might pay less. The problem with that is you're going to then hit pensioners. And
Yeah.
it's like, do they really want to? It will be no different. I don't see it being any different to the winter fuel payment thing. Do they really want to do that
Yeah.
after
Yeah.
last year?
Yeah.
So I'd be very surprised. I did have one of my viewers who thinks that Labour are just doing it to screw people over. So they get all these headlines and then when they don't announce it, go, you tossers. But given that Keir Starmer, unfortunately, is not one of those prime ministers who comes out to the media and says, wankers. I'm not sure.
It would be nice, wouldn't it, for a
That'd be good.
fuck us all. Miss Paula Thomas, thank you very
honestly,
much.
they should do that. If they are actually, I wouldn't mind to seeing Labour trip up the Tory media now and then. And when they do it, and they get them to publish a load of bullshit, I
Sue them.
wouldn't at all mind Keir Starmer coming out. Do you remember when you all wrote about that thing? Bet you feel
Yeah.
like proper wankers now, don't you?
Yeah. Miss Paula Thomas, thank you very much for the £5 super chat. I think there are things coming down about Beatrice and Eugenie. Ooh.
Janie, I don't think there's anything going to happen with that.
What are you thinking, Miss Paula Thomas? Tell us more. Yeah, what are you saying? Why is it a big thing to put 2 pence on income tax? It's 2%. They say 2 pence, but it's 2%, isn't it?
Yeah, but for someone on like 25 grand a year, that's 250 quid a year. So that's like just over 20 quid a month. I mean, unless you compensate in some other way, like there's people struggling.
Yeah.
That's noticeable.
Yeah. Yeah. So it doesn't sound like much, but
And also,
actually,
it's a manifesto. It's a clear rake of the manifesto. I mean, Labour argue it's the sort of
but
policy.
why didn't Starmer
Yeah,
say something on Wednesday then?
I don't know.
That was a bit
That's
weird,
what makes
wasn't
me
it?
think they are thinking about it. But I just think, like, I totally get, like, they've said that their focus is not raising taxes for those working people. They've defined those working people broadly as low to middle income workers,
Mm.
and you could totally do it. Put up income tax, lower employees' national insurance. That would be progressive as well. That would be
Yeah.
a progressive way to do it because national insurance is employees' national insurance is regressive.
Yeah.
Massively regressive. It first of all only paid by people who like no one who gets passive income pays it.
Yeah.
You also pay a disproportionate amount on the lower end of it. because the way national insurance works, it's completely mad for the major, there's different classes, right? But for the main ones. So if you're a worker, you can earn up to something like 250 quid a week or something like that. You don't pay anything. Then
Yeah.
from that to like 1400 or something, you pay 8% national insurance. But then beyond that, it's 2%.
Yeah.
So if you're an average earner, you're paying a higher percentage of your income as national insurance than like a consultant surgeon or someone. It's
Yeah.
completely batshit.
It is. It's mad.
So if you could shift, this is something that people on the left and the right, economists on the left and right, both hate um, national insurance, which is a pretty good reason why you should fold it into income tax. But if you do that, you screw over pensioners, and this is the killer. This is why economics, you can have economists go, oh yeah, do this, it'd totally work, it'd be brilliant. It's got to it's got to live in the real political world.
Yeah.
There is no way Labour could get away with folding national insurance into income tax, even bit by bit, I think, because pensioners do not pay national, even if they're working. If a pensioner is working, they still don't pay national insurance on their wages.
Yeah.
As soon as you're classed as a pensioner, you do not pay national insurance on anything,
Yeah.
no matter your work status. And so if you reduce national insurance and increase income tax, you're going to hit pensioners, they're going to hit you in the ballot box, which is very nasty.
Yeah. But then, I mean, there are ways. Come on, there must be some way, like a rule that says, okay, if you're a pensioner, then you get a discount, and the discount is exactly the same as how much they paid in.
You could try, but then it gets complicated, doesn't
It
it?
does get complicated. But what the big problem here is regressive taxes. Like council
Yeah,
tax is a
yeah,
regressive tax. It's
yes.
it's it's, it's so disassociated with the value of your property now. It's ridiculous. The property bans were invented in the early 90s as a quick fix because the
It
poll
was a
tax had
quick
gone
fix.
tits up. And it was a
Yeah.
drive-by. They literally drove past people's houses and just decided from the outside what
Yeah.
they thought it was, whether it was, which band it was in.
Mm.
And this is why you have these mad situations where you have these £20 million mansions in Victoria, in London, that are paying fuck all in council tax because, they're the highest band, but that particular council makes all of its money through business rates, doesn't
Yeah.
need the council tax, got no bins to collect, fuck it, don't care.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
kind of crazy. They could make pensions tax exempt when they merge NI and income tax.
I've thought about that, but then I think you've got to beware of people then. So then you then have to have a clear definition of what is a pension and what is not. Because you have like private pension and like, you know, people trying to avoid tax will of course shift things. So you have to make sure there's no loopholes. I think it could end up getting quite complicated.
Yeah, yeah.
Land tax is just the easiest way to do.
Land
Just do
tax.
fucking land tax. Start off with land that doesn't have property on it, so you don't accidentally screw anyone over with like council tax. You just, leave council tax for now. Um, you can reform it by all means, but just sort of largely leave it for now and focus on land that's owned by people that don't have property on it. Or if they're going to say, I've got 20 acres, but there's a farmhouse on it, it's okay. A house can have so much land around it that is counted as part of the house, but beyond that, you're paying your land tax.
Yeah, yeah. When it comes to breaking manifesto pledges, says Nick, the Brexit red line should be the first thing to go, not no tax rises. Well, that's the
Well,
thing.
the first thing to go is whatever the public let you get away with. I don't think there's been any such thing as a manifesto that, I mean, I could be wrong, but I reckon there's been no such thing as a manifesto that was actually fulfilled
Yeah,
100%.
yeah,
The things that go are the things you can politically get away with
yeah. That's very true.
that you don't really want to do.
That is,
Something like this, I just think it's high risk.
yeah.
So I'd be very surprised, but at the same time, I cannot answer you why Keir Starmer didn't commit to the manifesto on Wednesday. Unless, of course, there's something else they're planning on making, and it's not that. Or
Well,
maybe Keir Starmer has decided he wants to come out and go, wanker. I just can't see it.
well, I mean, one of the things that is probably going to be in the budget is the lifting of the two-child
Oh yeah, we
income
know
cap,
that. Or
and
some easing of it.
but again, something that should have happened last year, and they should be making an absolute huge thing about it. Like, well, look at what we did.
Yeah,
But
but no,
you say that it's
this is
not
no, this is a
popular,
case where you
but
wouldn't
then
make a big thing about it. I've told you before, it's the policy's
but you
popular.
make it
It's popular with
popular.
Labour voters. This is the
Leaving the
sort of thing you
EU
do.
was not a popular thing in 2010.
No, no,
The powers
no,
that be made it a
no,
popular idea.
no. The two-child cap is a popular policy. It's the sort of thing Labour should get rid of, but they do it quietly. This is not a vote winner for them. It's a vote loser. They should 100. They should 100. In fact, it would be probably peak Labour if they actually did make a big thing of it. If they made a big thing of that and not all the popular stuff. Honestly, it's popular in your little group. It is not popular with the public. It's very unpopular to get rid of this cap.
I thought it wasn't. I mean, I thought it wasn't like
I showed you last
crazy
time. I showed you
unpopular.
the polling. The cap is popular. It's popular with Labour voters as
I thought
well.
it was just over like 50%. I didn't think it
Mm.
was massively
Yeah, but
like
there's a
some of
load
the
that say
UK.
don't know. So
Yeah,
it's way more
I
people
mean, don't forget, don't
approve of
know
it.
also kind of equates to don't care. Like if you don't have kids yourself, you're
Yeah,
not
so it
asked
means
if other people.
that's not you can't just add that onto the ones who think it should be gone. Like people all of a sudden do care because they know it's money. They know everyone will know. It's not that they want people with more kids to suffer, some do, but most don't. It's because they know there's a cost somewhere. It's either a cost to them in taxes or it's a cost somewhere else in the lack of funding for public services that they might want.
Well, there's actually an article in the Independent from yesterday, or the I, sorry, not the Independent, the I. Two child benefit cap divides voters, but support for scrapping it is growing.
It
And
makes no difference. It's still low.
yeah, the
If your
cap,
support goes from, I'm not saying it is this low, but if your support
yeah,
goes from 2% to 4%, that's double, but it's still low.
yeah,
It is more than that, but I'm just saying that makes no difference.
yeah,
They're not going to turn it into a vote winner for the next election because you've got a cost of living crisis. When you've got a cost of living crisis, it's everyone's interested in what the economy is doing for them.
yeah,
Because when there's a cost of living crisis, they're thinking every penny of tax is they're feeling it.
yeah.
So they don't want to spend it on things that they think are for people who are taking the piss. And they don't like the idea of having other things cut because Rachel, there's going to be a sense of something being cut for it.
Well,
This budget is going to have us create a sense of something being cut
a, a,
somewhere else for it.
a new survey of 8,000 people by Survation shows net support for abolishing the limit is 33%, with 34% opposing the move.
That'll be wrong then.
And then a further
YouGov and Ipsos are my standards, and they've done very
yeah.
recent ones.
Well, this is from yesterday. A further
Yeah, so
26% were neither for or against.
yeah,
When it came to 25 to 44-year-olds, younger people are more likely to vote Labour.
Survation have a long history of amplifying the views of certain types of voters on the left, which is usually why their polls amplify Labour support. It's not so much at the moment; it probably amplifies the Greens now.
Yeah.
They do have. I mean, they're not
Well,
terrible pollsters,
that's
but
something
they are
that
very much middle of the road.
according to this, 25 to 44-year-olds, people having kids, more than 40% support removing the cap. 42% of Labour 2024 voters back removing the limit, as well as 43% of those planning to still vote Labour. And 42% of those planning to vote Green. And one of the things I'd say, because this is something that's going to get taken away rather than given to people, and you're right, I mean, it's not something that people are necessarily marching down the street demanding. But if you put together the 26% plus the 33%, the 26% who don't care, and then the 33%,
but those figures are wrong.
That's well over 50%.
The figures are wrong there.
But you only need 33% in first past the post to win an election.
Yeah, but the figures are wrong. You're using incorrect figures. Survation are not good pollsters.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Very few. You've got two good pollsters in this country. We've got two. We've got Ipsos Mori and YouGov. The rest are not good. Some are better than others. There's a sliding scale. Matt Goodwin's is the worst of the lot.
Yeah.
YouGov and Ipsos Mori are provably the best of the lot. It's a very difficult thing, and a lot of them do it on the cheap.
Well, yeah, the 59. So the one you're talking about, the YouGov polling in September, that was 59% believe the cap should be kept. But was that taking out the don't knows? Or was that including the don't knows?
No, you never take out the don't knows. Anyone who takes out don't knows either doesn't know what they're doing with statistics or is deliberately trying to deceive people.
Yeah.
You never take out don't knows.
Oh shit! I just had a meltdown on my chat. There you go. Just Hannah says child poverty is an all-time high, needs to be dealt with regardless of what
It does
radical
need to be dealt
policy.
with. There is an economic reason to get rid of the cap,
Yeah,
but there's not a political reason. So what you do is you do it because it's good economically, and you don't talk about it because it's bad politically. This is exactly the sort of policy you do not make a big fuss about. You just
so
do it. Because the beauty of it is, right? Who are the only people realistically who are going to benefit? The people who directly benefit. They'll know the cap's removed because they'll see they're getting more money. So you don't have to go and parade it on the media because those people will realize what's happening. They'll be told about it. They'll get a letter. That's
yeah,
how you communicate it to people. So the people who will directly benefit from it will know about it because they'll get a letter telling them about it and they'll see the money. You, the people who don't like it, just don't tell them. Someone else might tell them. The Telegraph is more likely
mm,
to tell them than Labour, if Labour had any brains.
bloody hell. The I'm just looking at the YouGov page at the moment, and the fact that the economy for quite a long time, it's actually the economy's just spiked up. Actually, it's now at 55%. That's the most important issue facing the country. Immigration at 53%, and that's just switched over. It was for quite a while immigration being the most important, which is just
Yeah, it never should be. The immigration should, I mean, the
bonkers.
economy should always, it always traditionally was like the economy and the NHS.
Yeah. So
And,
yeah,
it's again been fueled by it just being ever, again, it's simple psychology. There's a part of your brain that takes over the lizard part of your brain takes over the
yeah,
rational part of your brain when you present a threat, when you present an immediate threat.
yeah,
Immigration has been presented as an immediate threat. It is inevitably, therefore, people's top priority.
yeah, yeah. Do you know the last time it was this high?
Well,
Brexit.
2016 or
Yeah.
2019, maybe.
2015,
Mm.
2016. Yeah. It reached a height of 71%, saying it was the
Yeah.
most important thing
Because again, you
on the
just
4th of
flood
September 2015.
politics is psychology, really.
Yeah,
Politics increasingly is psychology. You've just got to be able to hit those emotional centers. And it
yeah,
is harder for Labour to do it than populists because populists present this immediate threat. So
yeah.
when you're trying to be a sensible partner and you are also in government, you
God.
don't want people to feel threatened other
Yeah,
than by the prospect of you not being in government anymore. So it is harder, but it's nowhere near as hard as Labour are making it.
yeah. But it is mad to see the figures just drop when the newspapers and the powers that be and the billionaires don't want you to care about immigration. The caring about immigration just drops off a cliff. Like nobody cares, and then suddenly everyone cares all of a sudden
Yeah.
because they're told.
Because immigration is not a part of most people's lives. They don't see
Yeah,
it. It's not there unless
yeah.
someone's pointing out some threat.
Elle says, "I hope the real Phil is safe." Is the real Phil? Is the real Phil
Yeah.
all right?
I mean, I've just seen another one there. Someone saying I should take it off. I can take it because, in all honesty,
Then you get someone saying,
it's
"Put it
not
back
that
on. Put it
comfortable.
back on."
If I'm honest.
um,
I've lost my other one.
oh no,
I'll be back in a minute.
he's lost his wireless, lost his pods.
I can still hear.
Okay. Don't swear. Mr. Tisk, thank you very much for the £2 super chat saying take the mask off, Phil. So there you go. That's all Mr. Tisk's fault. Thanks so much for super chat. Right, so we're gonna have to leave it there, I think.
Still got this though.
That's very good. Your Holmesian pipe, your opium pipe. If it's going to be
it's not a
Sherlock
real
Holmes. Oh, there is a Sherlock Holmes story that literally, I'm not making this up. It starts with Watson. And someone comes to him and says, "Listen, I've got this problem, and I need Sherlock Holmes to solve it." And he goes, "Okay, I'll go find him." And he goes to like a warehouse in the East End of London and finds Holmes off his tits on heroin. Surrounded by other heroin users, and he's like, "Come on, Holmes, let's go solve a case." And he's like, "Oh, thank God, I've got a case," because between cases, he just gets off his tits on heroin.
Yeah. Well, it was quite common in Victorian age. You could go to the apothecary and buy a heroin gift set for someone's Christmas present.
Yeah.
Here you are, little Johnny, your first heroin set.
And it came with like a needle and the little tourniquet thing to put around your arm, and Anyway, a little spoon, I guess. Anyway, so Phil, thanks very much for joining us this afternoon for this episode of the agenda. And well done for wearing that mask for an hour. I survived about 2 minutes in my horse mask. Thank you to everyone watching. Thank you for the chats. Thank you for the super chats. That's really super kind of you. Please join us tonight for the Halloween night social. Where we do lots of spooky goings on, I'm pretty sure. Have a great afternoon, have a great evening, and until I see you again, hello, good evening, welcome, and goodbye.